like to introduce my good friend Abhishek Vijay. He lives in Hopkinton, Massachusetts.
Go back a little.
He lives in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, and he likes to read, like me, right? He likes to study geography, and he also likes to play his violin. Give it up for Abhishek Vijay. I would like to thank my good friend Naya for introducing me and her wonderful speech about reading. Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek Vijay. How is everyone doing today?
Great.
That's wonderful to hear. Today I'm going to be talking about climate change. More specifically, 1, pollution, 2, global warming, and 3, sea level change. When you throw away a piece of plastic, do you ever really think about that piece of plastic? You may say, it's just one piece of plastic. What can that one piece of plastic do? But that piece of plastic could be eaten by a sea turtle, or even be eaten by humans in the form of microplastics. Here's a good question. Does anybody know what microplastics are? Naya?
Maybe they're pieces of plastic?
Well, that's partially correct. They are pieces of plastic, but they're pieces of plastic that are weathered away at by the ocean. Does anybody know where we might be able to find these microplastics? Arul?
On the shore.
Yes, the shore is one of the many places where we can find these, but one of the more surprising places to find microplastics are table salt. Yes, you heard me right. The very table salt we eat contains dangerous chemicals. And one other food that we eat also has dangerous chemicals. Does anybody, fish, does anybody know what chemical fish has? Yes, that's correct. Mercury. And this is all because of pollution. Could you imagine our oceans filled with a toxic sludge of liquid? This actually happened once in a town called Minamata, Japan. Minamata was a peaceful fishing village. It was actually even a popular tourist destination. But that all changed when a company started to dump mercury into the water. But hope is not lost. One great success story is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Pacific Ocean is an ocean of many great things. Great size, great beauty, great diversity. So it should come as no surprise that the Great Pacific Ocean is home to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. There used to be a very large garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It was 4 times the size of continental France and weighed 500 jumbo jets. But it didn't last for long. Scientists and researchers from all over the world came to clean it up, and they soon reduced it to a much smaller size. Now it's only about the size of Rhode Island. And they found something very interesting. Why all this garbage was in one particular part of the Great Pacific Ocean. It's because it was dragged there by currents. And while this garbage patch existed, it was very bad for any animals trying to swim through the water. It even blocked out sunlight in some regions. What type of animal is the most annoyed in the ocean? Yes,
A sea turtle?
You're close because that's an ocean animal, but it's crabs because they're always crabby. My second point is about climate change. Wouldn't it be annoying if the temperature of your house kept going up and there was nothing you could do about it? Well, that's exactly what's happening to our planet. When we drive cars and do other things like that, it releases greenhouse gases, and these trap heat, which is causing our planet to become warmer. Ever since global warming was discovered, the temperature of the planet has gone up 1.4 degrees. It doesn't sound like much, you may say. It's just 1.4 degrees. What can 1.4 degrees do? It's so snowy here, we could even use a few warmer winters. But that's until you realize 2 things. The rate of warming isn't slowing down or stopping anytime soon, and even 1.4 degrees can have massive side effects. So one example is, in Africa, they're suffering from desertification. Does anybody know what that is? Yes or no?
Like heat stroke, maybe?
You're close because it is related to heat, but it's when land that's usable starts to turn into desert. And because of heat, like you said, this is starting to happen. And many animals, especially elephants, are struggling to walk the vast distances between watering holes. And many polar bears are struggling because they can't swim the vast distance between ice floes and they're eventually drowning between them. So, it's not just scientists or researchers that can help either. If you just walk or bike short distances, you could reduce the amount of carbon that you put into the atmosphere. And if that's just for one person, imagine what everyone on Earth could do if they worked together. Which brings me to my third point, sea level rise. So as the temperature gets hotter, ice melts. And as everyone knows, ice contains water. So where does all this extra water go? It goes straight to the ocean, and as it goes to the ocean level keeps rising. And this is becoming increasingly big problems in lots of cities. New York, New Orleans, and even Boston could be underwater. Ironically, one of the first buildings to go underwater in Boston will be the Boston Aquarium. There's also a big problem with hurricanes. Because when Hurricane Katrina landed in New Orleans, it was a huge problem because it damaged floodgates that let water go into the city. Imagine that happening again, only with 50 more feet of water. Many famous landmarks, like Walt Disney World and the Statue of Liberty, could go underwater. And this is becoming an increasingly big problem in the city of canals. Does anyone know what this city is?
Venice, maybe?
Yes, it's Venice. Venice is filled with canals, and as the water keeps going up, many lower levels of entire buildings are being flooded. But once again, hope is not lost. We can look to a country that's supposed to be under sea level, but surprisingly, it's not flooded. The Netherlands. So, one of the ways Netherlands is preventing water from getting into their country is building giant barriers. But it's not just that. They have another solution, building gardens. But gardens, of all things, gardens, how could gardens be useful? Does anyone want to guess why they could be useful? Nea.
I think. So wait, you tell me, right?
Yeah.
So gardens are useful because they absorb water, the dirt.
That's correct. They absorb water. And the less water there is, the less flooding there is. And one of the reasons why we have lots of flooding now is because we have so many roads. And roads don't absorb water. And therefore, it just keeps piling up. So that's why Dutch people built gardens to absorb the water. But once again, the solution starts with you. You can remove tiny sections of pavement or bricks you don't need and replace them with a garden. Or if you want something useful, a vegetable garden. In conclusion, our planet is a gift, one that can sustain intelligent life for thousands of years to come. And like any gift, we should take good care of it. So let's not take this planet for granted. Thank you for listening.
Good job. Beautiful.